Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting of Tuesday, February 28, 2023 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdulaziz, Councilwoman Cotton, Councilwoman Davila, Councilman Jackson, Councilman Mendez,
Good evening, President, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Mims,
I am here.
Councilman Udin,
Good evening. Yes, I'm here.
Councilman Velez.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, this evening's prayer will be rendered by Councilwoman Dr. Lilisa Mims, which will be followed by the flag salute led by Councilman M.D. Farid Udin.
Everyone, please rise.
Good evening, Paterson.
Good evening.
This is the day that the Lord has made, and so we rejoice and we are glad in it. Let us pray. God our Father, we thank you because you are the God of all things. You know all things. You are the God that is in control. So God, we thank you on tonight as we come to do the business of the city. We pray according to 1 Corinthians 14:10 that everything that is done decently and in order. We pray from the top all the way to the bottom. We pray for our community and the uptick of the violence that is going on in our city. We pray for every family member that has been impacted. We pray for even the perpetrators that are doing the crimes. God, we pray for peace in this city. We pray for strength in this city. We pray for unity in this city. We pray for joy unspeakable and full of glory in this city. And God, you have commanded and declared and decreed that this city is the city of righteousness. And God, we stand on that premise and we believe and we call it so. And this is our prayer on tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everyone, please remain standing. We'll now have a moment of silence for our troops and those who have lost loved ones. Thank you. Everyone may take your seat. Thank you, Councilwoman Lilisa Mims, for powerful prayer service tonight. Madam Clerk, will you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes, Mr. President. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law for 2022-2023. Meeting date is February 28, 2023. Time is at 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2022-2023 on or about July 1, 2022. 2. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2022-2023 was duly transmitted on or about July 1, 2022 to the North Jersey Herald News, the Record, the Arabic Voice, the Italian Voice, the Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, the Quisqueya International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, the City Post News, Tap into Paterson, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. 3. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2022-2023 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall, first floor, in the place reserved for announcements of this type. 4. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2022-2023 was duly filed with the Municipal Clerk. And 5. A copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Call for payments of bill for February 28, 2023. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Council President. Let's do payment of bill. So we have the total amount for payment of bill today is $2,327,593.74. There's no payroll and no payment for solid waste. Out of the 2.3 million, all the statutory expenditure has 1.2 million. So this bill was reviewed by the Finance Committee meeting, and I recommend this bill to be paid.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on payments of bills. Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for approval of the payment of bills in the amount of $2,327,593.74. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Payment of bill in the amount of $2,327,593.74 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll take consent agenda now, Madam Clerk. Item 12-243.
Council President,
Councilman Velez,
you want to do this quick presentation?
right after. We'll get to it, Councilman.
Also remind you that you had an addendum.
That's fine.
Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed under the consent agenda are 12 numbered through 43. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez and Councilman Mendez, and second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on the consent agenda. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Consent agenda is hereby adopted.
Madam Clerk, the addendum item, do we have to add to the agenda, or
It's already added to the
is
agenda.
already added to the
Yes.
agenda? Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council member, we do have a presentation at 7:30. As you can see, our former Councilman Morris, here is behalf of St. Joseph Health.
Yes.
We'll take him at 7:30 as we promised. Madam Clerk, let's take second reading, item number 9, 11, 9 first.
Number 9, okay, sure.
Council President, if you have any questions, I know we have to move to public hearing, but I'd be happy to discuss this grant application.
Okay. Item number 9, Madam Clerk.
Item number 9 is a resolution on the hearing of a grant application authorizing application to the Passaic County Open Space Farmland and Historic Preservation Trust Fund for the Lou Costello Pool remodeling project. It's an administration resolution 23096. Public
moved.
hearing is required.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims.
Second.
Second by Councilman Mendez and Councilman Velez and Councilman Udine. Public hearing is now open on item number 9. Anyone wish to speak on item number 9, please come forward to the podium. Mr. Durham.
The mic is on.
Yes, it is on. On item number 9.
Yeah, a question. How long is going to take for that project to get finished for the new Costello Pool? If it get voted on, I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna vote yes. So, but I just want to know how long it's gonna take, because this is something great that we need in the city of Paterson, a brand new pool.
We'll answer soon. Is anyone else?
See no, move to
Move
close.
to close.
Seeing no one, move to close by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call to move, close the public hearing on item number 9, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, roll call to close the public hearing on item number 9. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
So before I vote to Elvis Durham, what happens is after a second reading, if it's approved, 20 days after the approval, that's when the process starts. So upon approval tonight, 20 days, that is the process for ordinance. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
First of all, I don't know if I'm the right item, but item number 9 is a resolution authorizing application. It's a application to request funds or grants to make this project happen. So it's only a resolution, do not read at first or second reading. So as soon as it's passed today, they have the free will to go and put this application forward. Let's cross the finger that the money that you're requesting, they give it to us. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Velez. Mr. President.
My vote is yes to close the public hearing on item number 9, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absent. Public hearing on item number 9 is hereby closed.
Council President,
Councilman Mendez?
before the vote, it will be important to allow Madam Clerk to elaborate on this item, on this application of the grant, just for clarity of the public.
And also the question from Alves Durham. When will this project come to fruition?
Thank you, Council President. Yes, so this project, for the public's information, is a large-scale, probably about overall somewhere between $1 and $1.5 million project behind and incorporating the land around Lou Costello Pool. So this is the second grant that the city is applying for funding to support the first phase of the project. The first one was the local recreation grant through the Department of Community Affairs. We applied for $100,000. The second phase, we're applying for $250,000 through the county open space funds. Both of those projects, we would expect to hear back if our applications were successful later this summer. And we would move to start the first phase of this project. We have also looked to allocate CDBG funding to support the remainder of the project. If all of this aligns perfectly, we'll be able to do them together. But we would look to have this, at least some component of it, have the shovels in the ground by the end of this year.
Council President,
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
I don't know if I'm mistaken or something's happening here. Since when we put public hearing for applications? Before you bring the application, we approve it and go out and put the application. Then when they do public hearing is that we award a contract for the project. Now,
Yes, Council President, if I
open
could
space?
address that.
Open space.
This is a requirement of the county, Passaic County Open Space
Passaic County,
grants.
yes.
That there is a public hearing as part of the application
okay.
process.
All right.
Thank you. Ryan, can you please check the sound? Make sure public will hear it from home. Is good now? Thank you. Roll call on item number 9.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 9 for approval. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 9 is hereby adopted.
Let's take item number 10.
Yes. Item number 10 is a resolution authorizing an application to New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, Green Acres Park Development Grant Program. It's an administration resolution 23097. Public hearing is required.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims and Councilman Mendez. Public hearing is open on item number 9.
10.
If anyone, item number 10, I mean,
10.
anyone wish to speak on that item, please come to the podium.
See no, move to close.
Seeing no one, move to close by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on closing the public hearing on item number 10, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 10 to close the public hearing. Councilman Abdulaziz? Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Public hearing on item number 10 is hereby closed.
Roll call on item number 10, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 10 for approval. Councilman Abdulaziz? Yes. Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Councilman Velez.
Yeah, to sign the bills. My vote is yes.
Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 10 is hereby adopted.
Item number 11.
Item number 11 also requires public hearing. It's a resolution authorizing an application to the New Jersey Development of Environmental Protection Urban Parks Grant Program. It's an administration resolution 2309.
So
So
moved.
move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilwoman Mims and Councilman Velez. Public hearing is open on item number 11.
Just one question.
Sure.
Is this matching funds or is this grant going to cover the full renovations?
Application.
It's just application, if we receive it?
Yes.
Matching funds or would it be, you don't know it at this point?
We can't. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Say no, move to close.
Move to close by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Abdulaziz. A roll call to close the public hearing on item number 11.
Yes,
Madam
Mr.
Clerk?
President, roll call to close the public hearing on item number 11. Councilman Abdulaziz? Yes. Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
I think the BA is saying she needs to speak before the vote, but we're in roll call at this point, or before we vote. My vote is yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Public portion? Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
the votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Public hearing on item number 11 is hereby closed.
Madam BA?
Thank you, Council President. We just wanted to take a quick moment here. There are a few things that procedurally we just need to do to talk about before you take your vote about these grants. And if I miss anything, I might ask our friends from New City Parks who've been helping us with this. So these are 2 grants that we're applying for, both through NJDEP, through the Green Acres Program. The main grant is the Urban Parks Grant, which is number 11, and that we would be applying for $500,000 for this part of the grant. But then, since our application is actually for $6 million, that's what rolls over into the Parks Development Grant, which is the application for number 10. So I just want to mention that it was like those 2 components that would be all part of the same application as part of West Side Park. We're going to have some partners who are also applying for money through NJDEP. Nonprofits can apply separately from the city. So through these 2 funding sources, we're hoping to secure maybe for the city somewhere between $1 and $1.5 million, and then through our nonprofit partners somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million.
Council President,
Councilman Velez?
so can you clarify, when you say you're going to secure through the city 1.2 million, that means that you're going to try to see if they say asking for matching, we're going to do it? So,
It's correct. So it's part of what has already been allocated by the council through the American Rescue Plan dollars would count as the match for the city. And when we have our grant application is a $6 million grant application, they will probably only award a portion of that. But by asking and by showing that it is a large project, we're scored higher. We get more points as part of our application process.
so because this is a public hearing too, that, a lot of people that came in and spoke about, only Ernest Rucker asked about a matching grant, is a matching grant. So this will be my message. Let's cross our fingers that they see us with eye of mercy and they give us a lot of money so we don't have money to match nothing because we $18 million on the hole. So we need to make sure that they look us with compassion, that we need to do these parks, we need to do what we have to do, but at the same time, if those matching comes high, it's going to be a problem. That's why we recommended, and I know the chair, the president also going to recall this, that before they used to do resolution of application and accepting at the same time. That's why we asked to do resolution application and then accepting afterward, because if we don't have the money, what are we going to do to match it?
Thank
So
you.
we had to get more partners. Make sure you get more partners,
All right.
right?
Thank you, Councilman. It still has to come in front of the council for final approval.
Clarify that.
Roll call on item number 11, Madam Clerk.
Yes,
Oh,
Mr.
I'm sorry, before we start,
Sh- Go-
We,
She's from the park. She's the one helping us with this grant.
As part of the Green Acres grant, we also need to let you know that an EIS has been done and that the property is a neg deck and it's been engineered and all is well with that. And we also just need to let you know, you've seen the concept plan. The concept plan is a revitalization of West Side Park and all its components.
Council
Thank you.
President.
Council
Council President. Ma'am,
Councilman Mims and Councilman Velez.
So I don't want to seem disrespectful to the group that is here, because they do amazing work, but we have already had public portion. We have passed that point. We're now in discussion, and it breaks protocol that they're at the mic speaking. That should have been a part of public portion and discussion. And I know they have a lot of information, but if we wanted to do a presentation, that should have been on the agenda for an actual presentation to be done. And that's something that can take place when it comes to us after the application process, because what's before us on tonight, Council President, is just to apply. But I would recommend before, when it comes to us for acceptance, that your group will come back to show us the amazing work and the plans that you have for West Side Park.
We absolutely sorry to bring.
That's fine.
No, it's okay.
Thank you for that information as well. We appreciate it. Councilman Velez, let's just vote on it. Roll call on item number 11, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President, roll call on item number 11 for approval. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So to the public, West Side Park definitely needs to be upgraded. And it's a big project, as Madam VA said, $6 million. That's why, if you don't remember, probably a year and a half ago, this is the exact plan that I mentioned, that the county should be making this a county park, where we could take that $6 million that we're pumping into this park that could have been allocated to other parts of the city, right? Paterson's the only one of the largest cities in the state of New Jersey that doesn't have a county park, right? So it doesn't matter how we get it fixed. The plan that we had in front of us a year and a half ago to entertain that becomes a county park, maybe using county resources, the $6 million that we're applying for, Passaic County could have pumped that money in, and that $6 million could have probably been put at Roberto Clemente, our Vera Ames Park, our East Side Park. Newark has county parks, East Orange has county parks, Jersey City has county parks. The city of Passaic, around the strip of Monroe Street, over a $7 million project that Passaic County paid for, and the city of Passaic is benefiting from us. But I understand that boat has sailed because we didn't get there. I'll continue fighting for that, but in the meantime, we can't let the park stay in the condition that's in, and I support this, so my vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Abdulaziz. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The renovation of West Side Park is a large project, and I definitely support a PowerPoint presentation from the guests that we have once we, get back the grant. So it's gonna come back to us, to this governing body. So we're expecting to have a PowerPoint presentation also to educate the community on a regular meeting. So hopefully we're gonna get a large portion of the money to renovate West Side Park. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez. Councilwoman Mims.
So before I vote, to the viewing public, let me be clear. Just in life in general, if you own stuff, you can't give it away. You have to keep some things for yourself. There are some rights, some things that are monumental to the city of Paterson. I'm one person, but I just don't believe we should be giving things away. We should find resources and ways that we can allocate or find money where we can upgrade or rebuild or renovate the things that we have. That was my fight from the very beginning. I am the person who went to the administration in the very first place to say, we should renovate parks. Let's upgrade parks. We've gotten grants. We've been to Chattanooga. We have a vision plan for parks. I am all for West Side Park, but I'm for all the parks. All of our parks need upgrading. They need things repaired and fixing, and we can't do everything. But due to COVID, we're able to have some funds that were not accessible before through the American Rescue Plan, and we're able to allocate it for certain things. We can't allocate it for everything. There are certain guidelines and things that are in place that we're able to utilize the funds for. I'm grateful that this is a plan that came forward. I believe that parks should be renovated, because when you renovate parks, you repair families, and our children and our families need a place to play that's safe. Not with broken swings, not with benches that are mentioned in park and signage and wood and tree stumps that are sticking out of the ground that need to be repaired. So the point tonight is that we have an item before us to apply for some funds through the county through an open space grant. I am all for that, and whatever funds that we're able to apply for, or any grants, since we have grant writers that work for the city now, I'm really happy about that. And we have a Parks and Recreation Commission that's been established, that we continue to look for more monies, not just for this park, but for all of the parks all across our city. But I'm for keeping what belongs to me. I'm not giving the county anything. If anything, we can do a memorandum of understanding where we could do shared services with them and share some of that stuff. But to give away things that we have fought for, worked for, have been named after great people in our community, I think it's a no for me. But on this item, because we're doing the right thing, we're keeping the park to the city, we give everything else away. And I know, Paterson, you're watching and you will agree. We've given the store away almost in this community, so at least we could keep the parks. My vote, Madam Clerk, is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine?
I think we all are excited for this project, and this is the second presentation is going to be today from City Parks, I believe. And one of the presentation was in town hall meeting in the second ward. People are excited for this. And this is not just merely a parks, but also included the sporting field, the total oval where most of our JFK kids play baseball. And I want to see implementation of cricket as well at the same time, where most of the cricket players from the second ward and from the city of Paterson, I would say, go there and play in a temporary field. So I'd like to see it. This project is there that covers the demands of that demographic area of the city of Paterson. And with that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Udine. Councilman Velez?
I agree with Councilwoman Mims. When this came to us, so people have to explain why it failed. You know, we have jury. Our parks are jury for us. Now, sending a message to the county, here's my park, that means that you cannot take care of it. That means you don't know how to manage. Here, manage for us. Everybody knows what happens when county has parks in other places, the process they have to go to, and the selective process they use to use those parks. So you need to be on the experience to be able to move forward in other things. So I will send a message to the county, go to Elmo Park, go to Clifton, go to Heldon, next to us. Those new light fixtures they put in their county roads, why we cannot get it in our county roads? That's taking care of their county roads and their county properties. So let's be fair. I'm waiting for Market Street have the nice, beautiful light fixtures like any other city surrounding has to, and we don't see it. Why we have to be in the tail end? And they get votes, they get taxes, and a lot of stuff from us. So, West Side Park, we all got to support West Side Park. What's going to happen in Lou Costello Park, we're going to support it too. But I just want to be aware, everyone out there, that this administration is still figuring out how we're going to balance $18 million. If they ask for matching grants, you know, that's why I say, let's get more partners and start making those calls and tell them the stress city we are to at least get the fair share of all this application. That's all we ask. We want the project to be completed, but we need the money on the desk. My vote is yes on it.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I want to thank New Park entity for partnership with City of Paterson. They have done a couple of presentations with the community, and community is very approve of this project. We had many, we probably have more than 100 people attend the community forum that we had at Youth Center on the Front Street. So I'm looking forward to this project, and my vote is definitely yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 11 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's 7:43, only 13 minutes late, Councilman Morris. Now we'll have a presentation by Dr. Carlos Rueda, Chief Innovating Officer and Chairman of Psychiatry, and Mr. Kenneth M. Morris Jr., Vice President of External Affairs, St. Joseph Health, free mental health counseling to Paterson resident. Councilman Morris promised me it will be about a very short announcement, about 5 minutes in it.
Council President.
Councilman Morris. Councilwoman Mims.
Before the presentation, I know Councilman Morris would agree, we have 2 of our high school seniors here, and can we?
Right after Councilman Morris, we'll present the.
I'm trying to get them home safely, you know, it's late, I want our kids to be home so they could be.
Sure, if Councilman Morris agrees.
Would you agree, Councilman Morris, can we, our students
It'll be a short
can they be honored really
presentation as
quickly,
well.
and then we'll bring you guys up.
Mike.
Thank
Council
you.
President, I will defer to you, and if you want to do whatever presentation you have.
Thank you. Councilman Ballas,
Thank
for
you,
our student athlete.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilman Morris. Councilwoman, thank you for that. I want to come forward. It's going to be short and sweet. I want to call forward Solaris Paul and also the other student from Della Orozco to come forward. They are students from Kennedy High School, the first 2 student females in the history of Kennedy High School to qualify for the state wrestling tournament in the state of New Jersey. So, and saying that, we'll ask the coach to come forward too. I know Adelaide probably going to say something about wrestling, but these are programs that are in our schools, and parents are not aware
Go to him first.
of this kind of programs. Please, yes, please ask your teachers, your coaches, these programs are here. Are they here for stay? That's Solaris.
This week?
Sure, definitely.
Solaris? It's like, thank you. Congratulations. They also going to receive citation from us as council members and also from the mayor's office and myself. Congratulations, coach, for the great job. I'm sorry we had to do it this way, but next time, students, children are first.
Thank you, Councilman Velez.
Thank you, Council President.
We do have a wrestling referee in our council, and also a former wrestler of Passaic County.
Council President, hold on, point of order. I didn't let the coach speak because it was rushing, so I would rather hear from the coach, okay? Because he could have the time later on.
Yeah,
Yes.
coach could say a couple of words, then our referee will say a word or two.
Correct.
Right here, Coach Brett.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I want to thank all of you for having us. This was very special. It's their, first female from Paterson to qualify for the states. Thank you so much. This is a great experience for them. And thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. They worked really hard, and this really means a lot. Thank you.
Let's go, women who rock. Let's go.
Thank you.
Council President, I know we have a teacher and a coach teacher too. Can we take a picture with them, just to honor this
Sure.
picture with them for Kennedy High School?
While we get ready for the picture, Coach. Go
So,
ahead, Coach.
Councilman Velez.
Even I'm from Ghost. That's okay.
No, Council Velez, I do want to say something special about, so as you know that I'm very involved with the wrestling community statewide, so I was actually at Vernon High School seeing the run that both girls did, and I guess I shocked them because I almost a referee, so when they saw that I'm a councilman, and here they said, whoa, this guy is everywhere, and I was there Sunday with them in Phillipsburg, but I want to let you guys, the spectators know, that they don't only just wrestle females. I've seen them go toe-to-toe against males in Bergen County, Passaic County, throughout North Jersey, and they're representing Paterson. So congratulations, and what they did, it's truly historic.
Councilman Morris and St. Joseph Health. I'm sorry.
Councilman Morris.
Welcome, Councilman.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council President, for the opportunity. It is indeed a pleasure to be in the People's House. I want to extend my gratitude to Madam BA, Corporation Counsel, Councilman Al Abdulaziz, in absence, Councilwoman Ruby Cotton, Davila, and also Councilman Jackson, and always to Councilman Mendez, Councilwoman Dr. Lilisa Mims, Councilman Fareed Udon, and Councilman Velez, and always to the lovely ladies over to my right, Sophie Alexander. But I think this is critically important for me to not only share with you, but for those folks in the greater city of Paterson as well. Through a grant, St. Joseph's Hospital, or St. Joseph's University Hospital in Paterson, is working with an organization known as Able To, and through this relationship, we are providing free counseling, free mental health services to Paterson residents. It is done virtually, but we recognize some of the stresses that our community has been going through as a result of the pandemic and other types of situations that they are dealing with, and we wanted to ensure that our residents, our Paterson family, get the services that they need. There's no longer a stigma when it comes to behavioral health. Just like if you have a sore foot or a sore back, you go and see a physician to address that. If there is a situation you're dealing with mentally, you should get that addressed as well. This is a free service. All you need to do is to sign up for it. I have flyers both in English and Spanish that I will leave here on the banister, and also provide to you, with your permission, of course, Council President, to pass out to the council members. For more information, they can contact the grant administrator. Her name is Barbara Kang. She can reach at 201-625-2891. Again, that's 201-625-2891. Again, this is for cognitive behavioral therapy. It is completely anonymous. It is
Very
completely
nice.
private. I would encourage anyone, no matter what the stress that you're currently dealing with, to take advantage of this free service to Paterson residents.
I love it.
Councilman Jackson, you can sign up twice.
Council President.
And before, if you allow me to, I do have with me the chairperson of our psychology department, Dr. Carlos Rieta. He's also the chief innovation officer at St. Joseph's Health. I'll ask them to expound further and also to share this important message to our Spanish-speaking family members.
Members of the council, thank you very much for the courtesy and the time to have us here. I really appreciate it. Now, with your dispensation, I'd like to say what he said in Spanish.
Sure.
Hence my Antonio Banderas accent. So, thank you so much. El Hospital de San José tiene un programa gratis, sin costo, para todos los habitantes de Paterson que quieran tener psicoterapia, terapia o counseling en español también, y completamente gratis, sin costo para ellos. La organización que trabaja con nosotros se llama Able To, que es una organización que hace delivery o que provee servicios de psicoterapia en español o en inglés virtuales. Entonces lo puede hacer con su teléfono, lo puede hacer con su computador en casa. El tipo de terapia que proveemos es el estándar más estudiado en psicoterapia, que se llama terapia cognitiva del comportamiento, o CBT, o Cognitive Behavioral Therapy en inglés, y ha sido probada para ser muy efectivo para trastornos de depresión y trastornos de ansiedad, for depressive disorders and anxiety disorders. Si hay alguna pregunta, vamos a dejar aquí flyers en español y en inglés para los que quieran tener un poco más de información. Hay un QR code con el que pueden ponerse en contacto con el website so you can register, y así se pueden registrar. So thank you again for the opportunity, and hopefully this will benefit all of our residents of Paterson.
Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Morris, it's always great to see you back in the people's house. The councilman with the greatest voice. But I'm here to replace you, so, so I'm here to represent you. But I really want to thank you for just being here announcing this program, because, Councilman, as we all know, mental health is extremely important in our community. A lot of members of our community, they need counseling, and what you say that this is extremely confidential. But the question that I have is, in order for people for the enrollment process, do they have to call? There's an email. What are the different different ways for people to enroll on this program?
There's, Councilman, thank you for the question. There's an online portal on which folks can register for the program. There's also a QR code that they can scan and register for the program itself, which is on the flyer itself. The number I shared with you earlier, they were the callback number, and I'll share with you once again. It's 201-625-2891. They could also get access to the program themselves. They do have to have some proof that they're a Paterson resident, because this is only available for Paterson residents at this time, and that can be a driver's license, utility bills, or even the municipal issued ID card would suffice. There is an income requirement, because we want to offer this to folks who truly need it, based on their income and so forth, because it is a free service.
Thank you, Councilman Morris, and also just in closing, to Madam BA and Corporation Council, I've been just requesting the public channel to be used for like the situation, like Feli de Jesus situation. Also, this type of program, we should have this type of service in our Channel 77. A lot of members of our community, they all have access to that, and they will be able to get this information and be able to just get in touch with San Joseph. A lot of our seniors, some people, they don't have access to a computer, so once they see the information, they could call, and they'll be able to receive this free service. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for coming. Councilman Mims?
So I cannot think of the name of the program, Madam BA, but it's a new program that we have in place where they're going out and doing the calculations with the people that are on the community that are homeless. I cannot think of the initiative, but they're doing a phenomenal job with those organizations. Can this be something added to that while they're out getting that information in the community? I think this partners with what we're doing already. So Madam BA, if we can just add this in circulation, I think it will give the uptick that's needed to make this program successful. Great job to my favorite councilman of all times, and thank you for coming to escort him here. He needed a bodyguard. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
Have a good night, sir.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I see the Council President trying to move me along. But I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I just would, one simple comment, Council President, if I may. The hospital is the anchor institution within this community, and we work in partnership with the community as well as the council and the mayor's office. We're also working in partnership with community policing. We own a billboard on Route 80, and on that billboard will be invested soon, asking has anyone seen the gentleman from the family, and so we're making that contribution to the family. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President?
Let's take the non-consent agenda now. Item number 44.
Sure, hold on.
That's why you're my favorite, Councilman Morris.
Item number 44 is a resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contract vendors for various departments and divisions for the City of Paterson. It's an administration resolution 23-131.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Any correction? Roll call on item number 44, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 44 for adoption. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson. Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
These are the vendors that we've used in the past, and this is just approval to bring them back on board. They've done some great work, and I commend their efforts. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
the votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 44 is hereby adopted.
Item number 45, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Item number 45. These things badly. Item number 45 is a resolution ratifying an emergency contract with Converge One for the purchase and maintenance of 3 network switches for the Information Technology Division of the City of Paterson. It's an administration resolution 23-132.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 45, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 45 for adoption. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
So before I vote, last week I had some questions. I did speak to Ryan and IT, and the concerns that I had was, one, I wanted to make sure that we had enough bandwidth to ensure that we had capacity to uphold the merging of the police and fire department in that location and extra space just in case we wanted to change our computer network system. The other question I had was interfacing between departments. Instead of saying we can't get it here, use a manual process. That was another thing that I wanted to see with upgrading, adding, and then as far as warranties. So, Madam BA, thank you. Ryan did call me today, so I'm good with this item. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
the votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 45 is hereby adopted.
Item 46, Madam Clerk.
Item number 46 is a resolution supporting an application to the Passaic County Open Space, Farmland, and Historic Preservation Trust Fund for the Pennington Park Improvement Project submitted by the Friends of Paterson Park, a 501c3 charitable organization. Its administration, Resolution 23-133.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number 46.
Roll call on item number 46 for adoption. Councilman Abdulaziz. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
So I just want to put on the record, because this item goes into some of the things that will be done in that park. I just want to make sure, because it's been stated earlier that we have an $18.6 million deficit, that even though this is great work that we're looking to do across our parks in our city, that the expenditures and whatever the gaps are, it does not fall on the taxpayers. So I just want to put that on the record. Although it's great work that we're doing, I just want to make sure whatever deficits, that there are alternate ways of finding to fill the gap versus the taxpayers and putting a burden on the taxpayers. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
So previously, I asked the same question. We did a public hearing because the application was going to go to open space. This one is going to Passaic County Open Space too, and we didn't have a public hearing. So.
This is the Friends of Paterson Park.
I know. No. Submitted by the Friends of Paterson Park.
Thank you.
But they going to the same identity, open space. The 2 organizations that was here are going also to open space, and we doing a hearing for them. So the city's doing it, but they include it as a conversation also and take the concern of the community. That's what I'm saying. So That's healthy for the community. We should do it, all of them, that the community have an input and question for it, all of them, no matter if it's the city or it's private. All of them should have a public portion for they could bring concern also. That's what I'm trying to say. So, saying that, we know that Pennington Park is needed of rehabilitation, and the proposal is good, so there's going to be real investment. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Friends of Paterson Park, when they have their meeting, they will have a public hearing. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 46 is hereby adopted.
Item number 47, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Item number 47 is a resolution authorizing tax collector to recall third-party tax lien and purge erroneous billed taxes on Lot 25 in Block 6308, aka 20 Sealy Street, owned by Claudia Suero. Finance Resolution 23-134.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 47, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President.
Before we
roll call.
move forward, discussion.
Discussion, Councilman Mims.
Madam BA, can you explain why this is before us?
Council President, if we could have Corporation Counsel
Yes, sure.
address this.
Thank you, Council President and Dr. Mims, for that question. So this relates to a resolution of a pending tax issue in which there was a structure on a property. That structure burned down, was demolished. Unfortunately, the tax assessor didn't update the assessment to include now just the land instead of the land and the improvement, and it continued to be in taxation. At some point, the lien was sold, the mistake was caught, and now that situation needs to be corrected. I will note that while this does require a cancellation and refund of a tax lien, it also requires the homeowner to pay the portion of the taxes they actually owe, as opposed to the assessment for the land and the improvement.
Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you for the update. Thank you for the update. The reason why I asked for an explanation to be put on the floor to BA and Corporation Counsel, I'm making a request for the CFO who's not here tonight, or he's just not sitting here, that we do a scrub of our system to make sure we don't have any of these other concerns lingering out,
Yes.
because I see we keep getting purges or tax, all these things coming in drips or ones or twos, but I'm going to put a request on the floor that we do a scrub of the system to check it in totality. Thank you, Council President.
Council
Thank you,
President.
Councilman Mims. Councilman Velez.
I know quite good this property. This property, and I could recall about 5 times, got caught on fire. Fire department respond. It got bought up about 3 times. DPW respond. It got cleaned up a couple times. DPW respond. We have to make sure that every time they go to these properties, those liens get paid, because we losing revenues. Now we're purging, purging these taxes, and probably we're gonna add, they probably owe us more than taxes. So just keep that in mind, Corporate Counsel, that before any transaction regarding purging taxes, how many call of service that property has, because it was abandoned property, how many times the police had to go, the fire department had to go, and also DPW had to go, and liens are put into this property because they're not well-maintained or secure, and they're becoming a eyesore to the community.
Thank you.
Vote,
Thank you, Councilman. Those issues will be gone now after we pass this resolution. All right, Councilman? Roll call on item number 47, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 47 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
So before I vote, this goes back to the last item, but Madam BA, could you send and write in the process of the Friends of Paterson Parks, because I don't believe they do a public hearing in their meetings when they do vote. Can you send us the process of what they do and how do they process? Could you just send us that information?
Council
wait a
President
minute,
was
roll call.
correct.
Yeah, can you just email us the process? I just want to know what their process is. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Dr. Mims. Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 47 is hereby adopted.
Madam BA, you want to clarify if Friends of Paterson Park do have a public hearing on their meeting?
Yes, they do. Thank you, Council President, they do. And I can get the exact date
Okay.
I believe that's going to be the March meeting, and I could make sure that we post it on social media and
Okay.
on the calendar and share it with all the council.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk, item 48.
Yes, Mr. President, the next item is item number 48. It's a resolution authorizing award of contract to Paterson of New Jersey, Inc. for decontamination services at 111 Broadway Basement, Level 1 and 2, under Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, Co-op 65, MCESSCCPS, bid ESCNJ number 2223-18 for the Department of Public Works. It's a Public Works Resolution 23-135.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number 48.
The discussion for a minute, Council President.
Discussion, Councilman Velez.
I know that we have the deputy chief here. Deputy Chief, through the chair, after this is contaminated and paint or whatever, you guys going to use it for the purpose of what?
This is Public
base-
Works.
Yeah, no, but it's going to be it's going to be at the 111 Broadway, the police department. I know that the flooded, damaged, all that section. Are they going to be still using it for the gym that they used to have or whatever? What kind of?
To be honest, I'm not prepared to speak about that. I don't know.
Thank you. Madam BA, do you have any information on this item 48?
I would have to follow up with the specifics, but this is, if you're thinking that there's been multiple types of damage in that space, in the basement level at 111 Broadway, this is just to address the mold that was growing in relation to Hurricane Ida with some of the flooding. So this isn't necessarily going to fix the issue of, to be able to use the gun range again, for example.
Correct.
So that is not something that's going to be happening, but some of the space as it was used before would likely, and I could get a detailed list of, kind of some of that exact space.
Because we did the tour, we visited the place. I know they had the showers, they had the lockers, they had the other things there. My question is, after it's clean and contaminated and probably painted and put it beautiful, you never know, are they going to be using that for the benefits of the police officer there?
I think some of the challenge here is that as we had flooding from Ida, it is an area that continually floods. So we're not, it would be unwise to put that level of investment in unless you're able to, kind of do a renovation to the entire place that prevents that sort of damage going forward. I think as we continue to look at a feasibility study for a recreation center that might include something in that space, that's something that we have to take into account.
All right, do notice.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
No, just very quick, Council President, I think that, this is only addressed, as Madam BA mentioned, the contamination, but at the DPW committee or on the finance committee, Madam BA, moving forward, it will be important to have a discussion about the building with the 111 Broadway. That building, elevators are broken, that building is in such a terrible condition that there have to be a discussion and see how we're gonna bring that building back and how feasible it is to the long-term project, as Councilman Adelaide mentioned before. We should talk about, a totally new building and utilize 111 Broadway, maybe bring it back, 111 Broadway to the tax rolls, but something have to be done.
We just did approve the study for feasibility study for 111 Broadway, so the study should be coming in front of us soon. Let's do roll call on item number 48, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President, roll call on item number 48 for adoption. Councilman Abdulaziz? Yes. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
So while I'm grateful that we have voted on the feasibility study, and we're voting tonight for the issue with the contamination in this building, I'm going to put a pause of caution after the feasibility study in regards to that building that we probably need to do an EPA study in that building as well. Because if we're talking about a recreation center, we don't want our kids to get sick by breathing in any level of contamination in any buildings in this community. So that's something else we need to do to make sure that there's no asbestos or anything in those buildings when we're looking into trying to put children into a space. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 48 is hereby adopted.
Item number 49.
Yes, Mr. President. Item number 49 is a resolution honoring the life and trajectory of Marcia Esther Sotorio. It's sponsored by Councilwoman Maritza Davila and Councilman Luis Velez, and co-sponsored by all remaining members of the council. It's a City Council Resolution 23-136.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims and Councilman Mendez. Roll call on item number 49, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 49 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 49 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll open up the public portion now. How many speakers do we have, Madam Clerk?
Just a minute.
Also, council member and the audience who is here, I have to leave due to a personal matter. So I'll see you in the next meeting. And Council BP, Councilman Mendez will take over the meeting now.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have 5 speakers so far.
How many?
5.
5.
First speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. The first speaker is Mr. Sebastian Mejia.
Sorry.
Good evening. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Good evening, council. Good evening, audience watching at home, my fellow Patersonians. My name is Sebastian Mejia. I wanted to say some words tonight on behalf of Crystal and the De Jesus family. Since she's with child, she could not be here this evening, so I will take the liberty to speak the following words on their behalf. Last week, we attended the emergency neighborhood community meeting hosted by our councilman of the 5th Ward, Luis Velez, alongside with the family, Mr. Corey Lewis Teague, and myself. Sorry, I'm reading it off the phone. We were all warmly received and able to display our missing Felix de Jesus posters. Thank you for that. The event was very peaceful amongst all attendees, including Councilman Velez, Lieutenant Sharon Easton, representing the Paterson Police Department, and a few other speakers, including myself and of course, the residents who showed their concerns. The meeting was informative and the residents were able to speak and ask questions freely and get responses from the guests available. After the meeting, Lieutenant Easton took the opportunity to speak to Eric de Jesus to inform him of her genuine concern for the family and about Felix's case. Lieutenant Easton did offer up that she was going to look into seeing if there is an opportunity of placing Felix's case on a billboard on Route 80, asking for the public's assistance in the case and advertising the $35,000 reward for the safe return of Felix de Jesus to the family, or any information leading to the arrest and conviction of any and all persons involved in Felix's mysterious disappearance. The Felix de Jesus family The De Jesus family was very grateful for Lieutenant Easton's very professional demeanor, concern, and willingness to assist the family. We would like to publicly acknowledge her courage to approach the family and thank her for her words of kindness, encouragement, and most of all, her compassion for the situation. Compassion for the situation is exactly what this family has been asking for a year now. I would like to touch on the money that was being requested to be allocated towards the improvement of West Side Park. I will always stand by the improvement of our parks because it keeps our kids off the streets and gives them somewhere safe to go to. But if we're gonna invest money and resources into our parks, specifically West Side Park, we better invest some money and some high quality cameras and some adequate lighting, because in case we all forgot, that is exactly the last location where Felix de Jesus went disappearing, where he disappeared last. The last known location was that very same park. So if we're gonna invest money and resources into our public parks, let's make sure that we have adequate lighting and cameras as well. Also, I didn't see it on the agenda for this evening, but I will continue my support and all legislation that will lead to all meetings, workshop, and regular council meetings to be televised. So anybody who would like to push that forward, you have my support. And anybody who is voting against that, I question your choices and I ask respectfully that you reconsider moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Mr. Corey Teague.
Good evening, Corey Teague, 65 Prince Street.
Good evening.
Of course, you know I'm here on behalf of the De Jesus family. I want to take a minute to say happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday to my mother, Pastor Louise Teague. She would have been 80 years old today. Those of you in the 4th Ward, Rosa Parks Boulevard area, remember her church that was there right across from Bragg's Funeral Home. And you remember the work that she did with the Paterson Pastors Workshop and various organizations in the city, as well as Barnet Hospital when it was open. So I just want to say happy heavenly birthday to her. Once again, we are here with the De Jesus family. I want to let the community know that there has been a lot of progress. After sending numerous letters to the AG's office, to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, we finally have got responses. I can't go too deep into it at all, but I will tell you that we have gotten responses this week, and the family is happy with the fact that they have been in touch and things are moving forward. There's progression. So we do thank those that have been supporting the family. The family also wishes to convey their thanks to the community. Even as we were heading over here tonight, there were some of the people in the community that recognized Eddie, and they walked up to him and they hugged him real tight to let him know that they are with him and they support him. And all of that is important. I want y'all to know that. All of that is important because what this family does on a daily basis and in the effort to try to get some answers in this case, it is not easy. And so if you see the family, don't feel afraid or intimidated to walk up to them and shake their hand or give them a hug and let them know that you're praying for them, that you're with them. All of that is important. All of that moral support is just as important as the work that we're doing with them to advocate on their behalf. Touching back on the police promotion situation, I happen to have a folder about this thick with emails and documentation in black and white to prove that Detective McCrae was done wrong. I have it right in front of me. There's no reason for me to lie about it. So for Councilwoman Davila, I wish she was here to make the statement she made at the, I guess you could say, promotion ceremony. I think those statements were extremely off base and they were not necessary. Yes, I did repost the video because it is a public video. You have to understand, whatever you say in these council meetings, especially the public meetings, is public and the public can hear it. It's just like that Miranda right, where it says whatever you say can and will be used against you. So you have to be careful when you go to that microphone, and she hopped over there with that broken foot and started talking all of that nonsense. Listen, the documents is clear. I don't know what Detective McCrae is going to do, but I will let the taxpayers know. If you guys are faced with another huge tax bill, it could be because of a lawsuit. I'm just saying. We keep running into these same ditches because you have egos instead of leaders who want to actually sit down and work these situations out. That's all I'm going to say. But once again, I am here with the family, and we do thank the community, and I do have to say, reiterate what Mr. Mejia said. I do want to thank Lieutenant Easton for coming up to the family and for talking to them and for showing them that warm support that night. That was truly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Mr. Ernest Rucker.
Ernest Rucker, Paterson, New Jersey. Good evening, council, administration. I'm here today to talk about an issue that's been plaguing the community. Several meetings that's taken place, and there have been numerous complaints that have come from residents and community leaders concerning this item. What transpired in the search for a clerk was a faulty process. The ad hoc committee that was organized and filled was not done by past practice. There was a new practice created. The members of that ad hoc committee did not come to the full view of the council. It did not follow the open records laws. We are now in a position that we are now asking that the president of this council drop the proceedings that are in place right now. We're sending a letter to the Attorney General. We're sending a letter to the DCA, to Lieutenant Governor and NAACP, Save the Village, and other organizations in the city of Paterson. There has never been a situation like this before, where we illegally create a committee. No one on the board other than the committee members know they're on the committee. The public didn't know it. Transparency went out the window. So what I'm asking today is that we understand that the process in place is tainted. There was an issue with one council member making a phone call to our president clerk, which I don't have all the full details on that created another problem. And that person should recuse themselves from any further process as far as the clerk is concerned. I am not here tonight to blow you up, but it seems like when I get up here, I have no choice. You had the diversity on that ad hoc committee was not representative of what this board looks like. No way, no how. No way, no how. And if you read the documents on hiring a clerk or a clerk that's in the spot at this point, you give that clerk or that deputy clerk or acting clerk the opportunity to be certified, like we did with Ms. Gordon. Why is this process now changing? Why was a committee made that was so off balance that only one group may be able to dictate who's going to be our next clerk? I want to make something very clear. We have not had such a personality in the clerk's office in a while. I need to finish this. I'm asking this council to officially question the process, ask that the process, and take a vote on it, ask that the process be renewed the way it should be. We are not in a third world country where a few people make decisions for everybody else. This is going on too much. And I'm going to close with a quick note, and if you allow me a couple of minutes.
Go ahead, Mr. Rocco.
We're talking about practices of the city of Paterson. I'm here tonight with a young man that is super qualified, a Paterson resident, a young man that I respect deeply, and he applied for the job, the posting of Mr. Ming's old job. He put his resume in. He was waiting for the interview time, never was called. But I believe a young man, well, he's not that young, but a young man from Saddlebrook, not a city resident, was promised a job. These kind of things cannot continuously go on. We cannot operate the way we've been operating. And it's time that we stop this and begin the process of doing things right. The young man will be speaking after me. One last thing I want to say to you is, we just talked about spending another $6 million on a park, correct? I want the mayor to show me what his plan is to protect these parks. We're spending tens and tens of millions of dollars on parks and no one to protect them. That doesn't make sense to me. To renovate something so the drug addicts and the homeless can go sleep in those parks, the $1.5 million we just spent on Avenue Costello Park, at night, the drug addicts take over. When are we going to start protecting our investment? And Kathleen, I will give you a call tomorrow to see if I can get some kind of answers out of you, which you always do, so I have no problem with that. But again, that committee must be dissolved, and whatever process that committee started with needs to stop, and we should give respect to someone that has spent 14 years in this city working herself up not to be considered. Are we kidding? How long are we going to keep doing this to Paterson residents? When does Paterson residents get an opportunity to work in Paterson? In closing, one last thing is the $18 million deficit. I think I've talked to every last one of you and asked you guys to pull out the old ordinances, adjust those, mandatory minimums, so a judge cannot reduce the fee on those ordinances so they can pay the lawyer. If you don't pull those out, you're talking an $18 million deficit. The only way you're going to get rid of this deficit is across the board. Little bit to everybody so no one feels offended.
Understood.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rocket. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President, the next speaker is Mr. Damian Emily. Damian Emily. Okay.
Good evening.
How you guys doing tonight? Good night. Good evening, guys. Council, how you guys, everybody doing tonight? Everybody's good?
Great.
Good to hear. My name is Damian Emil. I've been living in Paterson since I was 5 years old. I've been doing TV and film production, you could say, half of my life. This is something that I love. This is something I enjoy. This is something I'm always going to be doing. I got my Cablevision certificate with Michael Taylor. That's one of my mentors that I have. I'm going to make this quick as well. When I first started doing production, I started with Nellie Poe. Nellie Poe would bring me around, and I would film her, and she would take me around Paterson, and we would just film what she's doing. And I was filming at Cablevision Studio. Cablevision Studio I was at since 2012 to like 2013. They took away Cablevision Studio from us. When they took away Cablevision Studio from us, it's like my whole went crashing. So Cablevision Studio got taken over by Paterson, and the reason why that happened was because I was involved in that transition when Cablevision was paying Paterson. There's a lot deeper story than that. I'm just gonna fast forward. Then after that, I went to the R Factory. I helped rebrand the R Factory. I've been doing TV and film production for quite some time. I started my TV show called Hear Me Out in the city of Paterson. It's called Hear Me Out. Ken Morris was on my show. When I also was doing the R Factory, when there was business coming out there, Mike Jackson had his company, Jackson. I would make sure that they would go eat at his business instead of anywhere else, instead of ordering food. I've been the videographer, like I said, for quite some time. I have a TV show called Music Monday Videos, which I started in 2014 when I left the R Factory. I started that in Paterson, but I know it would be hard for me to be in Cablevision Studio because they're not adequate with the equipment that I need. So I had to purchase all my equipment myself, and I felt like there was a better alliance in New York than Paterson, to be honest with you. So I go to New York better because there's no home for me in Paterson, and I come from Paterson. And when I was told that there was a position that was given to someone else and that there was no one in Paterson that applied for the position, I got kind of irate, really. but I'm trying to keep my cool. I applied for the job on January 13th at 12:48. I also work for a magazine which is located in South Carolina. It's called Sheen Magazine. I branded them in New York, in the tri-state area, because of me. They're branded in here. I'm also a construction worker in New York, Local 46. I make $44 an hour, but I was willing to go ahead and take $45,000 for this position because I know what I could bring to the city. The position that they offer someone is I'm not quite sure, but I heard it was salary. Right now, the salary is at $40,000. A few more minutes. Within 3 to 6 months, I guarantee you, I'm not in that position, someone's gonna get a raise of probably like $65,000 or so. But if they give me that position in Paterson, it will remain $45,000. Paterson is filled up favoritism, not nepotism, because it's hard to give nepotism in government bodies or anything like that. So it's nothing but favoritism. I'm an outsider looking on, and I've been running the streets in Paterson since 2012, so I know how the system works. No one was here in city council. Nobody was here. Every face is going to keep changing because everybody got sick. The Paterson council got sick of Paterson. That's what really happened. You know, I'm just hoping that one day the city could change and it won't be favoritism. When I was working when I was working at Dish Network, what Dish Network did, they hire within instead of let me go out to go to somebody else. So Paterson needs to do the same system. If there's a job offering, why not offer someone in the city of Paterson? Why not let the city in Paterson grow? No one in Paterson knows anything that's going on. I guarantee you that what's going on, or even this posting right here. Someone had to tell me about it. John Ming himself told me about it, so I went to go look it up, and I'd applied. But I'm hoping something can be done. If not, I understand how it goes. Favoritism. No, it was not interviewed. No. It's favoritism in the city of Paterson. So I'm just going to keep on moving forward with my business. I just wanted to make this public record that I did apply. And $45,000 is not even great for this position. But I know if anyone else got it besides me or anyone in Paterson, it's going to be more than $45,000. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President, the next speaker is Mr. Elvis Durham.
Mr. Elvis Durham, 4th Ward, Paterson, New Jersey. Just want to say to the Jesus family, I'm praying for y'all. Keep on trusting God, because God knows the truth. And the truth is going to come out. And whoever is behind this, I guarantee you, before this summer is over, they're going to fall on their face. They're going to fall on their face. I want to talk about to contact the council at laws, Lisa Mims. And last week I had to contact councilman councilman of the 5th Ward, Louis Velez. This week, when I had talked to the councilwoman, Lisa Mims, I gave the phone to one of the store owners. Can y'all believe 4 stores got robbed by gunpoint in the downtown area? And I was speaking about police presence for 4 years now. We need walking police. It seemed like when it come down to the downtown area, it seemed like nobody cares, but I do. And I'm asking the administration, I know y'all voted at the last meeting for the UEZ funds, and everybody voted yes. Can y'all push it fast? Because we got business owners that want to stay downtown, but if they continue to get robbed, they're gonna have to move. They got family to feed. We got customers that's afraid to come downtown when they see unnecessary traffic. They go to Woodbrook Mall. And remember, I work for the parking authority. I need them cars to park in the parking lots. Okay? I got a family to feed. Okay? Also, I want to talk about Hiskop Stadium. It's about to open up on May 11th. Do y'all know that? The concern is right now parking. I want to know, is it possible can the administration, the mayor office, partnership, start having a conversation with the parking authority about parking before May come? I know y'all looking, why is that? Because we need parking. We need parking and there ain't enough parking. Okay? Also, I want to talk about Center City Mall. I want to welcome everybody to come to Center City Mall to do their Easter shopping. 301 Main Street, downtown Paterson, New Jersey. Keep your money in the downtown area. I'm almost finished, y'all. Just want to say to the ones that supported my Black History celebration, my production, Elvis Durham, Outreach Music Production. We came to the first war. Just want to say thank you to the ones that gave donations so I could be able to hire security for the people. I just want to say thank you to Council President Khalif. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Councilman of the 5th Ward, Louis Velez. Councilwoman of the 4th Ward, Ruby Cotton. Evangelist Barbara Daniels of Passaic, New Jersey. I want to say thank you. I also want to give notice to the people that have helped me build my production. You can't never forget where you came from. You can't never forget the people that had helped you, that was by your side. Just want to give notice to my best friend, the late Randy Stevens. I miss him. I also want to give notice to Joseph Leach of Paterson, New Jersey. Kasim Morrison of Paterson, New Jersey. Corey L.T. of Paterson, New Jersey. He back there. Just want to say thank you. Appreciate the work that you had done. My production is moving forward. We in a new era. We are in process of having a gospel cafe and other events that we're going to be doing right here in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, and other places in Prospect Park, in South Carolina.
Please wrap
even
around.
down in Franklin, Virginia. Also want to say one more thing.
Please.
I would like for everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Y'all hear me? My YouTube channel, Paterson NJ Good News. Everybody on TV Land and on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Paterson NJ Good News. Okay?
Thank you, Mr.
God bless you, and have a good night.
Thank you, Elvis. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
There are no more speakers, Mr. President.
Motion to
Move
close.
to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Udine. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call to close the public portion of the Municipal Council regular meeting of Tuesday, February 28, 2023. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
So there's so many things that were talked about. Once again, to the De Jesus family, you know I'm continually praying for your family, praying for Crystal. I know she's not here tonight, and a safe and a healthy delivery for her and your brother. I want to put it on record again. I've made this request. This council was asked, we created a letter. You all signed the letter. It was sent to the Attorney General's office. And I made a request because we never got a response from the Attorney General's office. I'm going to continue to say I find it egregious that you will send a letter to any office. That's like me sending a letter to the governor and he does not respond, or to a mayor, he doesn't respond. We sent a letter signed with all 9 council members, and I just find it egregious that there has been no response. I'm going to put it back on the record again. Corporation Council, a letter needs to be resent to, first of all, ask why didn't we get a response, and then second, to find out what is happening as it relates to the De Jesus family's case. Even if they say it's under investigation, they can't answer. They haven't said anything. I just find that strange. This letter was sent back in November of 2022. It is now, tomorrow will be March, and there still has not been a response. So I'm asking again to put it on the record, Corporation Counsel, that the letter will be sent out, or if council members, whether they sign or don't sign, that can be another conversation, but a letter needs to be sent just asking what happened to the letter that was sent out on behalf of this council. Second, the second request, the last gentleman, Mr. Emil, he stated that there was a job posting that came forward. He applied on January the 13th for a job opportunity. He read out his resume. I don't have it in writing, but he read out his resume, and he was not interviewed. So, Madam BA, if can you, for that particular job posting, can you send the resumes of everyone that applied for that job, one. Number two, I would like to see everyone that's been interviewed for that job. And three, if there's been any job offers. So I'll put that back on the record. The last person that spoke, he said that he has a vast array of experience working the camera. He also stated that Ming, who has done that job for a very long time, referred him to apply for the job, and he did that, and he applied on January 13th and never got an interview. So I would like to see all applicants that applied. I would like to also see who interviewed and if the job offer has been made. Paterson, there's a lot of things going on, and I want to put it out on the record with our families and our community and our children, where there's a lot of violence that's taking place. And parents, I'm just asking to make sure if something's going on, you got to say something. Please keep your children safe. Please ask questions. Show up at the school board meetings. Show up at the council meetings. Do whatever you got to do, but we have to save our children, our sons and daughters, but you have to help us save your children. So please, I'm just begging you to do whatever you can to make sure that your children are as safe as they can be, because there's too many, we're losing too many children, and too many children are getting hurt in our community, and adults at the same time. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Dr. Mims. Councilman Udine.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, everyone, those who are here and shared your concern on the community's behalf, and those who are watching us live on YouTube. Let me start from since I'm talking about YouTube Live, and Mr. Mejia, you have mentioned this. You know, this last council meeting, Dr. Lily Samim sponsored the resolution that the workshop session should be live on YouTube and TV channels, and I co-sponsored along with Councilman Khan, and I support it. I'm talking about myself. I support it to the end. Again, it's 5 votes are important in favor to go to the live. I want the participation of our people, and one thing I should say, even currently, let's say this meeting is on live, it does not mean really the public are participating. We need different things added to it too as well. And I want in the future as well that how can we give access to our community members to ask questions from home or from their workplace, maybe over the phone or some other means. I want that. This is actually total participation. You can just watch it and that's all, because you are not able to say anything back. But I want that. I know this is additional work to be done, but think about the demographics of the city of Paterson to cover the family's need. Our people working double shift. Sometimes they have no break, working all 7 days in a week. That's the scenario of city of Paterson. And I believe sometimes in the future we can have that. Whether I'm not sure about workshop sessions since it's failed once. And you notice who voted in favor or not, and everyone has their individual idea on this, so I'm not, saying anything about it, because everyone has right to vote in their way. But again, I want the people's participation, not just watching the meeting on live. Second thing Mr. Rucker mentioned about the person that applied for a position. And again, one thing I always say, and every time job posting comes, I post on my Facebook, and I always say that if you're from the city of Paterson, if you meet the requirements of that posting, I would love to write a recommendation letter for you, because I want our people getting priority on the job. Again, he said everything, we all heard. I'm not sure it's truth or not. That's a total different thing what MIMS requested for all the applications. And again, I request to our admins, because I have no authority, and I believe no one sitting here with me, authority to hire anybody. But we can always push for our people, our city's people, because that's the encouragement of our new generation that, okay, if you have qualification, first try to serve in your city before go anywhere else. I think this is the vibe we have to bring. And this is the reason every time job posting comes, I always post on social media to make sure that our people apply for these positions. So that's all I can, again, along with Councilman Mims, Madam VA, I'm requesting exactly the same thing, that if anyone, let's say, is qualified from City of Paterson, I think we need to give priority to the person. So if it is allowed, please share with us that, to take a look at other individuals that applied for the job. Other things also came up here about, totally forgot I wanted to cover this. Mr. Rucker mentioned about city clerk position. And it's totally surprising for me as well that I do not know that who is the part of the committee to go over all the applications who are submitted. And that's really surprised me when they were talking in some meetings last month that these are the people in the committee. I have, and I'm talking about many other council members, have no clue that who are in the committee, what's the, what are the items they're looking for in a, candidate. But I'm talking about myself that whoever we hired, I'm pretty sure those who applied for, they have definitely qualification. But think about if we hire someone from the other towns, or maybe a city of Paterson from other, job areas, then we have to, or this current deputy has to train the individual to make ready for the position. And to me, how it does not make sense when we can, and I'm not talking about just the person who is in deputy right now, anybody could be in the future and now, could be move up to the clerk position, and we can hire the deputy position if we need to. That should be the process, actually. That make better sense than anything else. It's not really I'm supporting the individual group or not, but I'm trying to say, like, what can make better sense? Who's serving in the position for many, many years, trained on it. And now we want to hire someone up our position and train that person to make ready for the position. Does it really make sense? I'm just throwing the questions out there. So many things surprised, me as a new council member. Maybe it's a learning process for me. But again, I want things to be fair for everyone. And I hope that we can fix whatever the process. And I was reading, and as you can see right now in front of me, that was the hiring process. And clerk's position, how nothing is clear on the resolution that says. So I believe that should be changed as well. So we need something in order that, okay, if someone served in certain positions should be moved up because that person know about the city better. But I'll see what else we can do to bring the change in the resolution as well. With that being said, thank you, Paterson, for giving me the opportunity. Again, I always say, and I'm saying it live on the camera, that I want your participation. And again, participation does not mean you're watching the live meetings, but your feedback. Because think about it, you're sitting here, and those who are coming here to speak for 3 minutes, you're sitting here for 3 hours to speak for 3 luxurious minutes. That's what's happening. We need to find different methods. Sometimes we always say, oh, we never had that. Technology, time changed. This time of technology, easy access. We have different means to get it, free access. Google Classroom, that's free. Zoom, people can share by Zoom and share their concerned questions. Not everything is just money related. Many things can be done without any cost. So I'm hoping for positive change that the demands of the time. And with that being said, Madam Clerk, thank you for everything you are doing. I commend that because I bother you a lot every time, and so many emails I send to you requesting this and that. And for everything, thank you so very much, and I'd love to see you in the position in the future. That's my goal, and that's my hope, and I'll fight until the end. I'm saying on the air, on the record. With that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Udin. Councilman Velez.
Thank you, I think, Madam Clerk. First of all, let me say thank you to Mr. Sebastian, Corey T., the Anthony, the Jesus family, and also the 80-plus individuals, community members that was at the meeting. It was the intention of the meeting from the beginning that came in my heart is to bring knowledge, bring information, and bring peace in the community based on the situation going on around the schools, around the neighborhood, and it's really important that this meeting was conducted. Even the police and the resources that was there, they came out amazed how the community conducted themselves and the ideas that they brought forward. Because there was 3 subjects. Why we was there, what is the plan that the police have, and what is our plan to make that plan works. And it came out good with a blessing, and not only we was in a church, and also, just in case, I took care of the donation. So, I commend the family for being there, and if I do 20 more meetings, I want you to be there. My meetings are public, my meetings are informative, and my meetings for the people. Last but not least, I'm not going to say the last one, but I heard Mr. Corey T., I believe so, saying that they received response from the Attorney General office. So I want to remind everyone that the letter October 27 stated that we, the council, because there was few members, I'm not saying all the council members, there was few members that request this letter to go in October, okay, that they decide to sign it after, amen. But it was only few councilmen pushing this. And we were strict to it. Not to communicate with us. Look at the letter says, to take over the investigation of the disappearance and missing of Jesus, right? The other thing is that we ask in the letter that any records, letters, investigation pertaining him be released to the family for transparency, not to the council. We want them to work with the family. They the one that's supposed to get the response back. They the one that needs answers. We need answer too, but this is the way to process. The letter that we was getting ready to do is why they haven't not respond to you, but they already did. That's the message that I received, okay? That's the message I received today. The letter that we pushing, that's already drafted, that they're sending the email for we could sign it, okay? It was requesting for the past 3 weeks why they have not responded, the family. So today we received news that they already have that communication, okay? And once again, I'm going to respect that relation that you have with Attorney General, okay? Because in one point or another, it will be a conflict interest between the government body and the judiciary body, okay? So, which they have answered your response, the questions, but my main response will be back, seeing the Jesus back. Seeing the Jesus back. So anybody that see that billboard out there when they put it up there in Route 80 between the exit of Market Street and Madison Avenue and Main Street, please run the voice, take picture, share it in your social media. Sometimes we share things on social media that is not even worth it. Let's share things that is going to be positive and is going to send the message to be united on this. I want to clarify something. I spoke to a couple deans from the council way back of my tenure here. Workshop never was televised. The only thing that was televised during workshop, it was when it was calling for a special meeting, okay, that action needed to be taken. Total different. In the past, we used to have a lot of these legal cases that we needed to do a special meeting. That's why you saw a lot of workshop being televised. And the only time that was televised was by pandemic based on a governor memorandum mandatory to do it because everybody was at home and everybody needs to know what's going on, okay? Now, I always say, let's take negative to turn it into positive ideas. We cannot just dump things and say, we need to be transparent. We need to be clear. We are being transparent and clear when we have to make decisions that have to be made based on public act, and make it clear to the public. That's when we take action. Now, if we're going to workshop, there have to be a decorum. There have to be an agenda. There have to be something that you as a public needs to know and we could offer. We're not closing the doors to no one. We are available for everyone, but I just want to make clear, and I'm saying again, I spoke to deans of this council, and they tell me the only time they only broadcast in the workshop, it was when it was a special meeting that action needed to be taken, that had to be public in every aspect. If the idea is good, so let's move forward. But for now, I think we're doing a great job in informing the community, informing what we're doing here in the regular meetings. And I always say this, if somebody says something about Councilman Velez, I got to do the same thing. Do a community meeting, bring it to the position and inform them there what is the deal that what we do in the city council as a whole. Last but not least, let's keep, please, the family, the young man that passed, that got, from Eastside High School, and also the other part too. We losing juveniles everywhere, but there's a safe corridor that always have been in process. Let's not confuse it. Always have been in process in Kennedy and also in Eastside High School and other high schools, but now they are putting more resources to make sure the waters come down, the students know that they have to step out of school and go home and do homework and do dishes and do other stuff instead of hanging around in front of Auntie Greer house, right? So, and goes both ways. At the meeting, Councilman, at the meeting, Councilwoman, the public agreed. This is a work from both sides. Parents need to get involved. Listen, talk about social media. You had to see those video games. Kids are playing video games that have violence, that have sex on it. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? You don't have a parent supervising every time. So what do you think is going to happen? Let's be honest. In my time, I don't know if G. Greer knows this, he's probably my age. They tell us to, when you hear a nice, beautiful song, play it in reverse, and you will see what it means, right? So nowadays, parents have to get involved. Policing starts at home. Education starts at home. And if I want to be a good parent, I need to be involved. There's no sign out there that you cannot visit as a parent the school to see how your kids are doing. There's no sign that say you are banned from the school. You're not allowing school to know what your kids is doing in school. I went one day to East Side. I find my son arm wrestling with another kid. The teacher was sitting down. I finished ending giving the class because I didn't send it to school for that. So parent involvement is important. And I always say to the parents out there, Council President,
Yes.
if you receive a video, if you receive information, don't keep it for yourself. Send it to the proper authority. Probably you could save life, okay? So I know we finished this meeting today early, but this message had to be out there. Before we go like this, we have to make sure we got 4 finger pointed at us. Saying that,
We got more item, Council President.
I know,
before-
I said we could have, thank you for Council President, but we're going to finish soon. Public portion, my vote is yes. Thank you for it.
Thank you, Councilman Velez. Mr. President,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Yes, we have 8 more items on the agenda. And as a president for tonight, I've been a little bit flexible because our agenda is not that long and we only have 5 speakers on the public portion, but let's be mindful of the time because we should finish early. I'm just going to address the Feliz de Jesus for a minute. I'm very pleased and excited to see that at least there's some information that has been released to the family. And I'm going to continue advocating for our public channel to be used for Feliz de Jesus Family Corporation Council to promote the $35,000 rewards that they have out there. It's important. Everybody needs to get involved in this cause. We have to continue praying for the family. It's been horrible. It's been over a year now, and they're getting a little bit of information, but we all have to get behind Feliz de Jesus family and keep pushing and putting this information out there. Somebody knows something, please, Corporation Council, we have to find a way to put those $35,000 reward on the public channel, please. With that being said, Madam BA, before at the last regular meeting, I make a request to change the way we conduct the meeting at the end of the public portion. And you as, that representing the administration, I really want you to have the opportunity at the end of the public portion after the voting for you to address the public. It's important. Today we only have 5 speakers. I know you have a conversation, a sidebar with Mr. Rocker, but please, follow up with the community. It's important that people understand that you as a person that represents the administration get back to the community and that way they could get the answer that they're looking for. Sebastian, the topic about the lighting on the park is extremely important. You're totally correct, but not only in the park, citywide. Madam BA, we need to have a conversation with a person that represents PNC&G with the city. Lighting is a problem in the city, in a lot of the area of the city, in park, and that's an attraction for crime and people to break the law and illegal activity. We gotta stay on top of that. And with that being said, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. President. The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Public portion is hereby closed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're gonna start with second reading ordinance. We're gonna start with number 1.
Council President,
Councilman Jackson.
very quickly, because I'm extremely curious. We have a member of the public that came to the podium to talk about something very important, and we're not even holding the BA accountable to answer the question. Was this position posted? Were there applications that were taken in? And why wasn't this young man given an opportunity for an interview? I think it's very important. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to quite a few things, I'm here hearing people like Councilman Udine talk about our people, our people. I'm wondering who our people are. Our people come to the podium every night and their voices aren't heard. We don't do our part in making sure the administration answers to this question. And another person came to the podium this evening, in fact, Brother Teague, and talking about Officer McCray, who was left by this council hanging, but we're talking about our people. The ceremony that I took place in, I think there was one Paterson person out of about 12 individuals that was promoted. And I'm not saying, listen, anyone who works here deserves to be promoted, but when we have people, our people who do grow up here, passed over, people coming to the microphone asking about a job position, and someone from Saddlebrook, and when an accusation is made that way, this council should at least give the administration an opportunity to either confirm and or give some proper information on that. So are we just pushing past the meeting, rushing through the proceedings just for the sake of process?
Councilman Jackson, before we move to the second reading, I know Damien was the young man that came into the mic. So before we move on, Madam BA, can you bring some clarification about that? Because I know Mr. Roca spoke about it, and he spoke about it. He said that he applied within the time window. And I saw you having conversation with them, but Councilman Jackson is totally correct.
Yeah.
I think we need to bring some clarity specifically on that item. And I mentioned that there was only 5 speakers. I saw you addressing some of the speakers on the sidebar, but so we want to hear from you and the administration.
Sure. Thank you, Councilman Mendez. On this topic in particular, it's truly more appropriate for a personnel committee conversation, as we cannot get into details about specifics about applicants, et cetera. But to confirm and to answer the question of Councilman Jackson, this was a public job posting. It was up. There were numerous people who applied for it. The application and numerous people were interviewed. The application and interview process was run by Director Foote as the IT technical expert in this capacity. And so we can address anything further. We would have to address in a personnel committee meeting where he could even speak to the process of going through the interviews and who he had come in with the specific skill sets as they were listed within individuals' resumes, et cetera.
Madam BA, sure. Before I pass the mic to open the floor to Councilwoman Large Mims, Madam BA, you have to be specific. We're not saying that we have to get in detail with personal matter, but did he apply within the time window? That's the information that we need to have here. We need to know if he applied within the time window that the posting was open, and if he didn't have the chance to get it to be on an interview or to provide an interview. So that's something that I'm the chairman of the personnel committee, and I'm gonna have my meeting next week. But before that, the public need to know if that's correct what he say. I was not aware about that, by the way, but we need to know.
But Councilman Mendez, I'm assuming that he was within the window. I would have to double check. I don't think that was necessarily the issue. Again, there was an interview process that was provided, that was run by our director, who brought people in who had some of the technical qualifications as expressed on people's resumes. And again, we can go through that in more detail at the personnel committee.
For me, it's definitely an issue. If somebody apply, Patersonian qualified, that person need to have the right for an interview. Councilwoman Mims.
So let me reiterate, because when I spoke at the public portion, I made the request to the BA because it is a personnel matter. And I'll put it back on the record again. I said, Madam BA, the gentleman came to the mic. He said he applied on January 13th. Please send out the posting, everyone that applied, everyone that interviewed, and if a job has been offered. Not to personnel committee, to all council members. There are only 4 members of this council on the personnel committee. The gentleman came and spoke openly to the public. I don't want this to be in a place where it's streamlined to only a certain group of people on the council. Everyone should be made aware since he came to the microphone. So I made that request openly, and I know now you're talking about a committee. This should not go to 4 individuals on the council. We are 9 elected legislative body members. I'm going to put it back on the record. The information I requested, I'm sure the secretary took that information earlier. All of that information should be given to all 9 members of this council so that we can see if perhaps there was a concern with the young man that spoke at the microphone, or if there was not a concern. But it should not be, and they can have conversation in committee if they want. I don't even know if they're meeting in committee. That's another concern. I don't even know. But tonight, my concern is that the gentleman came to the mic talking about his experience. I'm not sure about his resume. We don't have it before us, but I would love to see all of that information so we can speak intelligently when people are coming to the mic or calling us saying that something happened or it didn't happen. So I put it back, Madam BA, please send that to the entire 9-member body council and not to a 4 committee member group. Thank you so much.
Mr. President.
Councilman Bellet, just a minute before, let me bring a point, let me clarify this. We do meet, the personnel committee meet the first Monday of every month. We do have meeting, and I'm saying we're gonna have the discussion at the committee meeting, but it's not our intention to keep the information with the committee. Every time we have a meeting, we make sure that that information get disseminated to the entire council. Let's not get misinformed over here.
No, Council President, if you're meeting, why did you not know what happened to the gentleman?
And that was after,
But
that
Council
was,
President, if
we
there are
do
job
meeting,
postings,
we do
if there
meeting,
are job
we do
postings,
meeting, so
there
we
should
have.
be conversation.
Point of order.
Councilwoman, I give you the floor. I just clarify, we do meeting, we do have meeting, and I just gonna mention again, the first Monday of every month, we haven't go over that topic, and that's all I'm gonna say. But we have a meeting every month. If you wanna be invited, you're more than welcome. Councilman Velez has the floor now. Councilman Velez. Councilman Velez has the floor, Councilwoman.
I got you, ma'am.
Councilman Velez has the floor.
Thank you, thank you, Council Dr. Mims.
Yes.
So I think communication is the key,
Yes, it is.
okay? While Council President, I understand that you was gonna call a committee meeting knowing about other issues and now adding this issue, okay? But when the public comes here and address the whole entire council, now it's not an item for the committee. It's an item for the whole entire council to get informed. Communication is the key. We're not gonna get heat and out of shape and misinform the community for something that I was timing somebody talking, but that's okay. So, you know, there had to be a point that if we want to televise workshop, the quorum had to be in place. Something we have to bring forward that the community receive the right information and we get the benefit of informing them the right way. I listen to the community every time they come here, but I always have a thought in my mind. A wise man, when they don't have nothing to say, a wise man. Every comment of the public portion, I write it. And if I know the numbers or how to reach them, I will do so. But I always say, I will not get involved in personnel matters if all the facts are in place. I cannot go by gossip and create all this hatred and create all this commotion when it's not going to take us nowhere. So when we're going to fight with people or we're going to argue for something, let's get the right fact from left and right and make sure that we inform the community the right way. I just want to say that because I didn't say I was the dean. I say I get information from dean from the council before. Thank you.
Understood. So we got to move quick with the agenda, Councilman Jackson. We have a more item on second reading.
Very good. I'll be brief.
Go ahead, Council. Go ahead. After Jackson, we're going for first reading.
I asked for the floor
second
before
reading.
Jackson, Council President.
Go ahead, Councilman Jackson.
So, one, I want to be clear. I mean, there's a lot of rhetoric that gets spoken about back and forth, which is all a bunch of nonsense.
Yes.
About facts and all this. Let me give you a few facts. First of all, where's the committee report? Right. If there's committee meetings, where's the committee report? Let me talk about facts. A young lady came to the microphone yesterday, last week, or the week before, and informed the community of some critical facts. She is a long-standing resident of the city of Paterson. She's highly qualified. She was forced out, master's degree, 2 state certifications. The committee, the same personnel committee, watched this person get forced out while someone without a college degree take that position. Let's talk about the former zoning director, non-Paterson resident, sat in that position for 3 years while that same committee was in place, meeting with the same administration, while a young man had to take the city to court, sue the city, and vindicate in order to be hired. This council is not doing its job. When you have people coming to the podium, it is a public matter. We don't have to speak about names, but the process in which is being ignored is an issue. We have the same thing repeatedly go on. We have another lawsuit by former Director Gilmore. It takes a member of the public to have to sue the city in order to be treated properly. This council has not done its job. Officer McCray was mistreated. And I'm gonna just say this very quickly on record, for Councilwoman Davila to do what she did. One, the biggest issue is it put the city at risk once again, yet again, to insinuate and say that a person who is here now worked hard and deserves it, to imply, to bring forward an implication that the person who's not here didn't work hard and doesn't deserve it. That's blasphemy. And for us to all sit here and act like it didn't happen, these consistent practices that's going on with this administration and their hiring practices of ignoring the residency policy that this council has had the ability to exercise and is not enforcing. So we can sit here and talk all night. The fact of the matter is the fact of the matter. We're not taking care of our residents. We have people here that are coming to the council asking for answers, and we're not even allowing or holding the administration accountable to answer the questions. And that's ridiculous. There was a job posting that was made 5 times in order to get to someone that they wanted, and paid them $120,000, who's non-resident, for what? Because they're doing favors. There's a civil service process in place. What is the committee report on the civil service process that's been undermined? Maybe you could provide that to us at one of these upcoming meetings, Councilman. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mims?
I think enough has been stated. Let's move on. Corporation
Thank
Council,
you.
I just
Appreciate it.
I just want to ask a question, because we are down to almost bare minimum, because we have some people that are absent on tonight. The quorum normally requires 5. If we get down to 4, can the meeting still go on? I just wanted you to put that on record.
There's no quorum for
I'm asking Corporation Council.
Council President, may I?
Yes, Corporation Council.
Thank you, Dr. Minch, for that question. 4 would not provide a quorum and the meeting could not proceed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's move, Madam Clerk, with item number 1 on second reading.
Yes, Mr. President. Item number 1 is a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's an ordinance amending Paterson Code, Section 381, entitled Rent Leveling. It's a Health and Human Services Ordinance 23013.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Public hearing for item number 2 is now open.
Seeing none, move to close.
Second.
Discussion.
Move to close by Councilman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call by Councilman Abdelaziz. Roll call to close public hearing.
Oh, okay.
Roll call to close the public hearing and item number 1. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Mims.
Jackson is there.
Councilman Jackson, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Udin.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Public hearing on item number 1 is hereby closed.
Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 1.
Council President, I just asked a question before we vote.
Councilman Velez.
Okay, so I know that Councilwoman Mims and Councilman Udine are going to agree with me that when we address the the rent levy board, it was to address the stipend for the commissioners, et cetera, et cetera. We remove item number L that was entail of fees to homeowners and et cetera. Now, there's another fee here, 381-8, that says appeal, fee, transcript, and proceeding, that they went from $20 to $100. Can we do an amendment to remove the $100 too?
Councilman, if you amend it, it has to go back to first reading. This was passed on first reading that you supported. If you want to amend it, it has to go back to first reading and change.
Once again, Chair from Human Resources, I just want to say this. And this is, we need to be aware, and you need to be aware, and Councilman Mendez and I been talking this in the BW. If you could amend an ordinance and you're going to have hiding fee on it, then we take action and we start removing it. But if you say that's good to pay $20 instead of $20, $100, hey, public, understand that he says it's good to pay $100 instead of $20.
Council President, may I get the floor?
I just want to let you know.
Council President, may I get the floor?
Councilman.
And I don't mean to do this to the councilman and embarrass him on TV. You supported this, the same exact ordinance on first reading. I actually didn't vote on this on first reading. Councilman, I got the floor.
Councilman Delasi has the floor.
So I stay quiet here to the public. We're on second reading ordinance. The way government works is first reading ordinance comes first. The councilman to my left supported this and voted on the affirmative. He wants to amend it, which has every right to amend it. It's amended on the floor. You supported this fee first reading. So this isn't magic that came out of nowhere. I didn't support this on first reading. I wasn't here to support this. So Councilman Velez, state your facts. I didn't say this fee. This fee was on something that you supported. You want to amend it, put a motion on the floor to amend it. It'll go back to first reading. That's how government works. So to speak on the discussion, you supported this. That's the facts. Corporation Counsel will tell you everything I'm saying is legal, and whatever I'm saying is if you want to amend it, goes back to first reading. So I didn't say anything about the fee. You supported the fee. That was in their first reading. It doesn't come up by magic. Corporation Counsel, did this ordinance change from first reading?
Corporation Counsel.
Yes, it did.
Thank you, Council President. After the amendment to remove the fees as voted upon by the council, it has not changed.
Thank you very much.
So
with that being said, Councilman Velez, just give me a minute.
With all due respect,
Councilman Velez, you will have the floor in a minute.
Okay,
just
good.
Give me a minute.
Yes.
Corporation Counsel, because listen, we have 8 more items, council member, 8 more. We have very soon one of the council members going to leave. We're going to end up with 5 only. Let's not create debate. Whether we make the motion to amend and move back to first reading, choice number 1, or we move forward with this only increase on that because we've removed the rest of all the charges on this legislation.
President.
Yes.
So I gotta be, when people say, I don't want to embarrass my councilman in the public, so I'm not gonna embarrass, I'm gonna talk facts. When we be talking about this item, it's good to leave at 9:30 and then leave us hanging here discussing the item. This item was removed, that line item of fees that was going to developers, for homeowners, et cetera, et cetera. It was removed, the L item on it, all right? That was going to hit millions of dollars of taxpayers here. Now, it was never detained. I know there's another fee on the works, and I was trying to remove it. I'm not saying that I will not support the rent levy board. I am supportive of the rent levy board from day one. What I don't agree is that every time we're going to have a discussion and amending, they have hiding fee on it, and then we don't have the chance to discuss it in workshop because everybody get out of shape, okay? Then it comes here to the regular meeting. Now we want to do something beneficial for the residents of Paterson, and they say we against it. But if people take the same time that we take here from 7 o'clock into the end of the meeting and discuss anything that they have, not just leave when your item is out, Come on, council member. You don't embarrass me.
Councilman,
At all.
Councilman Velez, loud and clear. Councilman
So
Velez,
loud
now,
and clear is,
now,
Council President, loud and clear is, when a person get up, when they listen, the public stands there and get up and don't listen to the public, that is embarrassing.
Councilman Velez,
When a
now,
person- when a
moving
person
forward
is-
with the first
Hold on,
item.
Council President. Hold
No,
on.
I understand, I give you the floor, but let me just
Yeah.
be clear of the thing that we're gonna do. Let's stop the back and forth for a minute. Are we planning, because we move line L, which is include all the fees, okay?
Correct.
You mentioned, are we moving forward to second reading with this only increase?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna
Okay,
leave
so
this fee.
let's move on.
But Council President, knowing the future, when the board is already complete, we're gonna come back and amend it to remove it. That's it.
Thank you, because the rent leveling board, understand, this is the beginning. This board have to be functional. We gotta move forward, but this is not the beginning, this is not the end.
Yeah, correct.
We're gonna have a lot more discussion with this board. Please, let's vote on second reading on this item. Madam Clerk, roll call on item number 1.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 1 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
So to the public, once again, Corporation Council stated it. What is in first reading is the same exact item that's in front of us in second reading. Look who voted for first reading. This is the type of waste, the text messages that the constituents text me about what is said, it is comical. And they didn't change. The fee was in there in the first reading, and I support this, so my vote is yes. I just want to make it very, very clear. A first reading ordinance does not change when it comes up for second reading. You heard it from our lawyer, and the council members know that. It's not a mysterious fee. They call it mysterious fee, as you heard. That means they didn't read it, or they didn't catch it, which is, it's human. We do see things that we didn't see that same night. I've had issues like that. That happens, but that didn't come out. There is no, oh, we just added it in there. It's illegal if you do that. If a first reading ordinance is different than second reading, that'll get caught in court. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What's disheartening is the attempt to undermine the process. There's a process in place. If there was a necessary amendment that needs to take place, it's there for a reason. The fact that the councilman would try to bring an educational moment on at this time is not surprising at all. The other part is not to defend the person at the end, but he's absolutely accurate. When the public is here at the podium, you know, some of us seem to be too antsy. They can't even sit in their seats. So let me rush this along. I know someone's curfew is coming about, and they have to rush out. So obviously, this is very important. Maybe some people, maybe someone got a phone call and pressure was put on them. So there's a necessity for an amendment. You don't know what the rationale is, but the process is the process. To make an attempt to belittle someone, I mean, it's common practice. But again, I lay my hat on the things that's important. When we have members of the public that's coming here and dissatisfied with the performance, and we sit back and overlook those types of things and make a big deal about things like this because we want to leave early, that's embarrassing. But Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims.
So to the community at large, you have been asking, demanding, and requesting for the rent leveling board to be reenacted. The reason why the rent leveling board was defunct or removed initially was because they could not get a quorum. There were not 5 people that would show up to the meeting. And so I pray that all council members, because we're voting on tonight, and in 20 days after this vote, it will be in place. So my prayer is that all council members, which get 1 selection and the mayor gets 2, are you okay, council members? My prayer is that everyone will make their selection so it will not hinder the process of the rent leveling board. Our tenants and our homeowners, they need relief and they need advocates. So after we vote on tonight, if it is approved, 20 days after, this board will be reenacted. So I'm praying that Corporation Council, that by this point or after tonight, all of the council members will give their names and the mayor so that we can move and get this board on the roll. Madam Clerk, my name has been given for my person to serve on this board, and my vote is yes to see this board active.
Thank you, Dr. Mims. Councilman Udine.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The purpose of this board is serving the interest of tenants and landlords, and I think this is the very important demand of the time that we need the board to be active. But one thing, since we don't want to go back and off the record, I had a quick conversation with Councilman Velez that let the board to take place, let all the appointees to be on the board and let it be active. And before I go to vote, I'm requesting to the Corporation Council, I'll send an email with the request as well, that once it's, active and we appoint all the requested appointees for the commission, we can amend this number. So we don't have to waste our time. We can keep going, and at the same time, we can bring the change that needed from $100 to $20 back. So I'll request you by email as well, so that you can request right after, so that we don't have to waste time, but process will continue on. With that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Udine. Councilman Velez.
So let me clarify the record. This ordinance was amended at the first reading. In the first reading. And it say, of course, I have to say in the first reading. We discussed in workshop. We voted for second reading now. So there's no deal on it. The situation that we have in here is, and we're going over with committee, DPW committee, that they want to amend, and there's some fees on this new ordinance, or putting new fees on the ordinance. And we catching all of them, right, Mendes? And we want to make sure that the taxpayers of Paterson don't get hit every time they want to balance the budget. So saying that, last but not least, I'm a independent vote. I don't need to get special calls like others do, that they get investigated in every aspect of it. I do my vote consciously that the taxpayer had to be protected from here. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So before my vote, I'm excited to see this rent leveling board in place. I already have the person that I'm planning to appoint, Madam BA. Make sure that all the council member has the candidate that we just looking forward to see there. This and Brother G, this rent leveling board is so important. Page 6 out of 8 talk about the percentage of that a landlord should increase on the rent on the tenants. So we're gonna put law in place that will protect the tenants, and there's gonna be a clear understanding between landlord and tenants in the city of Paterson. There's a need for this board to start, functioning as soon as possible. Also, we took all the fees out at the DPW committee meeting, but we're gonna have more discussion. This is only the beginning. We're gonna make sure that we put people in place that they're gonna meet, and they're gonna take action against, to address the need of the community. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 1 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, we have item number 2 is repealing establishment of handicap, and also item number 3 is also repealing establishment of handicap. Can we put item 2 and 3 together and do and open the public to comment if they?
I'll read both of them and then.
Sure. Item 2 and 3 together, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Item number 2 is a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's an ordinance repealing establishment of handicap parking spaces at various locations. Public Works Ordinance 23014, 194 4th Avenue, 14 Jane Street, 272 Governor Street, 209 Lily Street, 459 East 30th Street, 72 Rosa Parks Boulevard, 55 Jasper Street, 212 Caldwell Avenue, and 182 Carbon Street. Item number 3 is also a second reading ordinance. It needs public hearing. It's ordinance repealing establishment of handicap parking spaces at various locations. It's a Public Works Ordinance 23015. The addresses are 203 4th Avenue, 20 Buffalo Avenue, 93 Butler Street, 95 Carbon Street, 129 Carbon Street, 329 East 16th Street, 972 East 19th Street, 713 East 2nd Street, 108 Highland Street, 110 North 4th Street, 490 Park Avenue, and 89 Ryerson Avenue.
The public hearing is now open for item number 2 and item number 3.
We have to move and second it.
Move. Motion to.
I'm sorry, moved by Councilman Velez and second by, who's second? Okay. I'm sorry, it was moved by Councilman Velez. Oh, second, moved by Councilman Min, second by Councilman Velez. Public hearing is now open for item number 2 and 3.
Second.
Move to close by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Abdelaziz. Roll call. Madam
Roll
Clerk?
call on items numbers 2 and 3 to close the public hearing. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Public hearing on items number 2 and 3 is hereby closed.
Roll call on item number 2 and 3, Madam Clerk.
Quick question before you go to the roll call, President.
Councilman Udine.
The question to my Corporation Council. Corporation Council, remember that you have sent a request to DPW committee, I believe, about the 22 feet to 18 feet parking sizes. Did you hear back from them?
Council President, Mayor?
Councilman, Corporation Council. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Noonan, for that inquiry. At this point, I believe it's still going through the committee process, and the law department is continuing to support the evaluation of that proposal.
Correct.
All right, thank you, Corporation Council.
Thank you, Councilman Udine. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President, roll call on items number 2 and 3 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
So before I vote, I'd like to state to the public that I have sent a request that instead of 22 feet handicap parking, I requested for 18 feet parking sizes. The average car sizes are 14 feet, 18 feet is more than enough. I went to the other places, other towns, and measured their parking sizes, and that's 18 feet. I sent a request, and I want it to be changed, because every council meeting, we have over 50 applications, and we were approving these applications. What's happening is, those are getting the parkings, they are extremely happy because they got granted parking space. But think about the parking crisis in the city of Paterson. If that continues, I think this problem is going to be even more severe over time. And besides, I request, and so many times I asked our traffic superintendent, Robert Strategy, is working amazing job for sure. So what happened is sometimes people move up from the city, they don't report that parkings, and it's still under, handicap parking. I think we should address that. Also, sometimes, and I think we cannot do anything with this. Sometimes people come up with, and one of the incident happened, I think it's the last month. They have handicap parks, and instead of parking the car, which is designated for that parking, they are parking their commercial vehicle on the spot. So that parking that reverse statutory, and I think DPW, they took this sign away and they requested and got this back. So I think we need to bring the change that we cannot really, there is no actually penalty fee then when they don't follow the rules. We just, they just grab it, take the, sign back, and once they pay the fee or whatever penalty they have done, and after that they are putting this back. So it's just really a lot of extra work for DPW. I think we need to bring the change that there should be a penalty fee of not following the rules and regulations assigned to those parking spaces. With that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
So we having a long discussion in DPW committee regarding the request of Councilman Uding. There's a uniform code, I could say requirement, when there's a handicap space inside a private lot and outside in the street. It's totally different. You could apply 18 inside a parking space, inside a property, but you cannot apply 18 on the road because it's totally different. The backing up, the pull forward. You know, it's hard to park sometimes. They are real handicapped, right? So there's a uniform, you know, it's not a set, how can I say it is, already standard. Street is one, inside of any private property is different. So the traffic engineer explained that in committee, okay? What we are bringing, based on your concern, is other things. Based on your concern, so what we're gonna implement is if you're, like now we repealing 21 handicap space, that person was sent letters and 2 months before the application had to be renewed, they don't answer, they getting repealed, people complaining about parking space being taken by other people and then using it wisely, they getting repealed. When people die, they getting repealed, etc. Now, you just stated about comment about fines. That is a NJ statute about handicap parking vehicles that don't supposed to be there, and it's $250 ticket plus community service. So they know that, and that's a police matter. So saying that, also we are coming forward with, like if you did not renew your handicap and it's repealed, you had to start the entire process to get that handicap, because some people don't even go to doctor and that handicap goes still there for decades. They had to renew their application totally. We need to know if they are legit handicapped. So we're gonna get a little bit more strict on that because we got more cars, less streets in the city of Paterson. My vote is yes on this.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. My vote is yes.
Thank you. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Items number 2 and 3 are hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, let's take item number 4 and number 5 together, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
It's a long list, so we're gonna split 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, so that way we could.
You could do them all together.
It's a large list, so let's just do.
No, but she has to read them anyway.
Take that.
Give me 1 second, Council President. So I have no problem. So there's, Madam Clerk, so we have from item number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, they all, and number 8, they all establishment of handicap. We have it's a large amount, so let's combine all together and let's do only one public hearing for all the item, and then we'll vote together on all the item, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll start with item number 4. It's a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's an ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. Public Works Ordinance 23016, 39 Albion Avenue, 82 Carlisle Avenue, 342 Allison Street, 773 East 19th Street, 120 East 21st Street, 1010 East 23rd Street, 728 East 26th Street, 237 East 27th Street, 918 East 27th Street, and 317 East 22nd Street. Item number 5 is a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. Public Works Ordinance 23017. Public hearing is required. Addresses are 194 Kearney Street, 284 Linwood Avenue, 204 Lawrence Place, 85 Paterson Avenue, 15 Pearl Street, 178 Sherman Avenue, 77 Wayne Avenue, 184 17th Avenue, 229 Keene Street, 144 Lewis Street, and 26 Pennington Street. For item number 6, it's also a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. It's Public Works Ordinance 23018. Addresses are 371 East 26th Street, 462 East 31st Street, 412 East 34th Street, 344 15th Avenue, 30 19th Avenue, 72 Dixon Avenue, 171 North 1st Street, 140 North 5th Street, 194 North 9th Street, 64 East 16th Street, 289 Presidential Boulevard, 175 Redwood Avenue, and 64 Ryerson Avenue. Item number 7, it's also a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. Public Works Ordinance 23019. Addresses are 14 Arlington Avenue, 184 Beach Street, 122 Carlisle Avenue, 98 East 17th Street, 271 East 22nd Street, 1106 East 24th Street, 167 East 23rd Street, 442 East 24th Street, 287 East 27th Street, 386 Ellison Street, 100 North 4th Street, 34 North 6th Street, 116 North 6th Street, 135 North 9th Street, 18 North York Street, and 357 21st Avenue. Item number 8 is a second reading ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. It's Public Works Ordinance 23020. Addresses are 316 Hamilton Street, 40 Goshen Street, 168 Kearney
Number
Street, 182 Jasper Street, 265 Marion Street, 33 May Street, 202 Park Avenue, 12 Rose Street, 41 Riley Avenue, and 87 Summer Street.
Great job. Seeing none, move to close.
No.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, public hearing is now open.
Mr. President, we need a motion and a second for the...
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I know we tried to, those are the last 4 items on the agenda, so I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilwoman Lilissa Mims. Public hearing is now open for item number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Motion.
Seeing none, move to close.
Move to close by Councilman Abdelaziz,
Get a motion.
second by Councilman Velez.
No, you need a motion. You saying,
A motion for public hearing of the...
We already said it.
who did?
Motion for public hearing, I say, and we went through the process. It was being closed by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Velez, and roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call to close the public hearing and items 8, I'm sorry, let me start from the beginning. Roll call to close the public hearing and items numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims? To close. Councilman Velez?
Definitely.
Mr.
Yes.
President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
So the votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Public hearing and items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is hereby closed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now we're voting on item 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all together.
Yes. Yes. Roll call to adopt items 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Councilman Abdelaziz? Each one separate? Okay. 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 All right. So, Mr. President,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
the Corporation Council, as per the statute, each item for adoption must be approved separately. So I'll have to
Corporate Counsel, question.
Madam Clerk, totally understood. Totally understood. Let's start with 4 and let's move along, Madam
No,
Clerk.
I got a recommendation. I don't know if.
No, but it does, Councilman Velez, that's a recommendation of
No, I
Corporation
know.
Council.
I
Let's
know.
not waste time, Councilman Velez. Let's start with number 4. Please, please.
I know, but hold on, listen to the recommendation. Corporate Counsel, I know they have to read it individually, but now that we read 60 of them in the record, if they are in the record, can we just take the title and vote on it?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Council President, may I?
Council, Corporation Council.
Thank you. So, in accordance with 40:49-2 procedure for passage governing body, it does permit you to read it by title and not have to go over it
Good, thank you.
altogether.
See?
The statute also
Thank you.
permits, by omission, permits the public portion of all of them to be held together, as the council did.
Correct.
But it doesn't seem to give the same leeway with voting on all of them together.
Correct.
It uses terms as each ordinance or each reading, and I read
Title.
that to mean that each one would need to be
Perfect.
voted on
Council
separately.
President.
So Corporation Council, so since they all in record, so all the address, so your recommendation and so is that we could definitely read it by title and start. So let's start with number 4. Madam Clerk, item number 4 for the record.
Before we start, Council President,
Councilwoman Mims.
Corporation Council, with that being said, then are we in jeopardy with the repeals that we just did? We read them combined. Do we have to do them separately as well? Do we have to revoke those votes and do them over because we combined those as well in a public? It was the repealing, we combined them.
Corporation Council.
Thank you, Council President. I think out of an abundance of caution that just by title alone should be voted on separately items. The repeal, I believe it was 2 and 3.
2, it was on 2 items. Madam Clerk, let's start with item number 4 on item number 4 by title 4 through 8, and then we'll go back to the repealing one.
Item number 4 is a second reading ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. Is Public Works Ordinance 23016.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz. Second by Councilman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 4 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 4 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 5.
Item number 5 is a second reading ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. Is Public Works Ordinance 23017.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz.
Second.
Second by Councilman Udine. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 5 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz? Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims? Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
There we go.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 5 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is second reading ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. Public Works Ordinance 23018.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz.
Second.
Second by Councilman Udine. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 6 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 6 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 7.
Item number 7, second reading ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. It's Public Works Ordinance 23019. Motion.
Motion moved by Councilman Abdelaziz. Second by Councilman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 7 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam
The
Clerk.
votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 7 is hereby adopted.
Item number 8, Madam Clerk.
Item number 8 is second reading ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations on city roads. It's Public Works Ordinance 23020.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz,
Second.
second by Councilman Udine. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 8 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson.
That's the last.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
This is for the public?
No, this is for
the vote?
adoption.
I'm just going to say this, also, we discussed in committee, any one-family house application that comes in that had big driveways and everything, we send him back to the road inspector to check why they had driveways and everything. So we're going to be real strong on this. So if you plan to put a handicap, if you had driveways, this could probably get denied. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before my vote, we need the community attention on this. As you see, item from 4 through 8, there's a large number of handicap that we have from 4 to 8. So there's a lot of handicap. We cannot deny that. This is a state statute based on, a disability act. That's our responsibility. But now, you live in the community. If you see any person that is not utilizing the handicap of, the right way, please report her. Call your council members, call the city. We will send an inspector, and we will repeal that handicap parking space the same way we're repealing 21 on item number 2 and 3. But we need the community support on this. We know parking is very limited. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The
That's
votes
it?
are 6 yeses, 3 absent. Item number 8 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, Madam Clerk, we're gonna get item number 2 by title only. We already did the,
That's a second reading, Councilman. You need to
yeah.
read it completely.
Item number?
Second reading.
second reading by title only. We did the open
No.
section. It's a second reading.
We did the first reading, no?
Councilman, item number 2 by title only.
Okay.
And we already have the public hearing. Madam Clerk, item number 2.
Item number 2 is a second reading ordinance repealing establishment of handicap parking space at various locations. Public Work Ordinance 23014.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 2.
Roll call on item number 2 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 2 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 3 by title only.
Yes, Mr. President. There's item number 3. Item number 3 is a second reading ordinance repealing establishment of handicap parking spaces at various locations. Public Works Ordinance 23015. Motion, please.
Do I move by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 3, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 3 for adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 3 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We conclude the agenda with this
Move
last
to close.
item. Do I have a motion to
Motion-
adjourn
move to
this
close.
meeting? Move to close by Councilman
Second.
Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Udine. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to close this public meeting today.
Roll call to adjourn the Municipal Council regular meeting of Tuesday, February 28, 2023. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Closing the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Good night, everyone. Yes.
Mr. President.
Passes.
Mr. G, we finished at 10 o'clock tonight, and what a great news. So just before my closing this meeting, let's continue praying for our city. We're facing a very difficult time in terms of crime and shooting in our community. Let's support our children. Parent, please stay on top of your children, their education, what they're doing out there. Please, let's fight for our community. Let's get united. Let's continue praying for our city. And with that being said, my vote is yes. Good night, Paterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. The meeting of Tuesday, February 28, 2023 is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Listen to me. Since I was here, I know you got a couple of lights out. I know you love checking the bulbs throughout the city. I send them to Paterson app.